Hello and welcome to Good Game Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Barjo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am Darren.
And we've got lots coming up on the show. We're going to meet some gamers, answer some of your questions, and show some love to the DS by reviewing the latest Club Penguin game and seeing if there's anything worth downloading from the DSi store.
It can't be!
So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Why wasn't my segment on last week? You promised.
Darren, you wrote it all in binary code. We can't broadcast that.
Yes, it was a bit of a mess, but I've had some programmers working on it all week, Hex, so I think we'll be able to fit it in.
Happy.
Well, right now, let's hit the ice and tackle some Club Penguin.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of Club Penguin. It's one of the biggest and fastest growing online MMOs, where you get to run around in the ice as, well, a penguin.
Did you know that all penguins, bar the Galapagos penguin, live exclusively in the Southern Hemisphere?
No, I didn't know that, Darren, but my life is richer for it, thank you. Now there's a spin-off game called Herbert's Revenge, and it's a sequel to the first Club Penguin game on DS. It has you working as an agent with the top-secret penguin spy agency, whose job it is to protect the citizens of Club Penguin from Herbert P. Bear.
Who is a vegetarian polar bear who can't swim and doesn't like the cold. He found his way onto Club Penguin with the help of his crabby henchman Klutzy, and now he wants to destroy the island.
The game contains 10 missions for you to point and tap your way through. You collect items for your inventory, use gadgets and puffles to solve problems, and solve minigames along the way.
You'll bump into old agents like Dot, Rookie and Jetpack Guy. G, your tech support will brief you at the start of every mission, and the shady director of the agency will also pop up every now and again. The map comes straight from the online version, so those who are familiar with it can jump straight in.
The whole game feels a bit rehashed to me, Hex. I mean, a lot of the missions they just ripped straight from the MMO, and there's only 10 of them, and that is a bit cheap in my books.
Yeah, but I think there's value to those missions though, Badge, especially for those people who haven't played the online version. The areas in the map are easy to get to, and although tasks can be repetitive, most are thankfully really short, and I think there's a good dose of humour in the story. I did get over having to constantly blow into the mic to summon a puffle though. That got really annoying.
Yeah, also there's just not enough to explore in this world, and the interactions with the NPCs or in-game characters are boring at best, and you can have some little funny moments just by randomly tapping objects in the world, but you're only rewarded with a coin, so it's not really worth it. And you know, what made the online MMO fun is the freedom you have in that game to just roam about, and you don't have that here.
I don't know, I don't think it's really fair to compare a DS game with an MMO. I mean, I liked that some of the puzzles were quite challenging and the mini-games really broke up, you know, a lot of the missions. I thought it was good.
Yeah, the mini-games are one thing I did like, especially when you got the hot sauce pickup in the Jackhammer game.
I wonder if I could run on hot sauce.
Darren, I think we should just leave that for another day.
The graphics, they were meh.
Agreed, and the sound too, ugh.
Or rather the lack of it. The sound was so disappointing, I just ended up muting my DS.
It was so awful I had to rely on my internal media player to provide the requisite soundtrack for Secret Agent Penguins.
Oh really? What was that?
Goldfinger! He's the penguin with the Midas touch.
All right then, final thoughts?
I think this game is average at best. If you played the Elite Penguin Force missions online, then you've already played half of this game, so if you haven't, you might have some fun with it, but I didn't. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's repetitive and limited, but the story could be quite interesting if you like Secret Agent Penguins and solving missions. It's 6.5 from me.
And it wasn't cheese after all. I know, right?
Okay.
I know.
Oh, Badge, it's Ask Good Game time.
Oh, who's on first?
Well, let's just have a look. We have this one from a mystery viewer. It's just like a whole bunch of question marks.
What a mystery.
From a whole bunch of question marks. I just got Toy Story 3 on my DSi and I've finished it, but on your review there were levels that weren't on my game. Why? Well, mystery viewer, it's quite simply because we reviewed the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version. DS versions of games tend to be very different.
Yeah, with the DS being a handheld dual-screen, stylus control device, it's a completely different kettle of fish compared to sitting down with a controller in front of the TV.
Yeah, I mean, what works as a good game for home consoles usually won't translate at all to the DS. They tend to make completely different versions of games just for that console.
All right, moving along, we've got this from Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom, which is in Western Australia. When will LEGO Universe come to Australia? Too easy, Mario. LEGO Universe is set to have a worldwide release on October 26th.
And for those of you who don't know, LEGO Universe is an upcoming MMO all about LEGO, much like other LEGO games, but online. Let's take a quick look.
And before we get 100 questions asking us if we'll review it, yes, we will, okay? Moving on to this from Adam in Sydney, New South Wales.
I have a GameCube and only have a few games, one of which is Luigi's Mansion, and I was wondering if there were any other games that have Luigi as the main character with Mario not in the game. Well, yes, there is, Adam, but only one other game, and you really don't want to play it.
Yeah, it was called Mario is Missing, and it was released on the NES, SNES, and even on the PC and Mac way back in 1992. Basically, it was an educational game designed to help teach people about geography, and it's one of the least fun games ever. Moving on to this from Wesley in Sydney.
Hey guys, do you know when Pikmin 3 is coming out? And if so, could you give me a preview? Thanks.
Unfortunately not, Wesley. There's been no information or announcements about Pikmin 3 other than confirmation from Shiggy saying that it's currently in development for the Wii.
I was really hoping to hear something about it at E3 this year, but there was no mention of it. Fingers crossed we'll get some more juicy info soon though. Anyway, let's go to this from Kip in Townsville, Queensland.
Hey, good game. Will Pokemon Black and White be able to be played on the DSi console, or will I need the 3DS?
Indeed it will, Kip. Pokemon Black and White is not a 3DS title. It is being released for the current generation of DSs, so you won't need an upgrade to play it.
The 3DS is backwards compatible with DS games though, so if you do upgrade to a 3DS, you'll still be able to play it, but it won't have any fancy 3D effects or anything like that.
Yeah, anyway, that's all for this week, Spawnerinos. We'll be back next week to answer more of your questions.
Meanwhile, if there's anything on your mind, why not send us an email here?
Where?
Oh, hang on. There it is.
Huh.
Hello. I was just updating my database, but while you're here, I'll impart upon you some of my gaming knowledge. If I had a heart, owning noobs would be the thing closest to it. I do not have a heart. Instead, I have logic, programming, intelligence, and a laser. These are the best tools for owning noobs. No weapon is as great for incinerating flesh creatures as the laser. No weapon makes a better pew-pew sound. Therefore, I will count down the 5 best lasers in gaming history. In Impossible Mission for the Commodore 64, players took the role of a secret agent attempting to stop an evil genius. To defeat the evil elven atom bender, the player must enter his stronghold to find 4 pieces of a password by solving puzzles and evading an army of killer robots. Each of these robots is equipped with a short-range death ray, capable of killing any meatbag instantly. Number 4 on my list is Thexter, a game in which you control a combat robot capable of transforming into a fighter jet. Thexter is armed with an auto laser that targets enemies automatically and fires at anything on screen. This is Thexter's main strength and his greatest weakness. The laser power bar is also Thexter's health, so the more he shoots, the weaker he gets. Whoever designed a robot with such a weakness is a noob of the highest order. The makers of the Raiden series of scrolling shooters understand that when it comes to lasers, bigger is always better. Initially, the lasers in Raiden are rather pathetic, but after the player picks up enough power-up modules, it becomes very impressive, filling the screen with satisfying, deadly, noob-exterminating vengeance. Other power-ups equip the ship with missiles, spread shots, and lock-on plasma beams. But real gamers don't need missiles, and lock-on is no better than cheating. Real gamers stick with giant lasers. The heroine of Super Metroid, Samus, uses her laser for almost everything. Naturally, she uses her laser to destroy her enemies. But Samus also realizes that lasers are more than simply tools of noob ownage. They are a way of life. Why would you open a door with your hands when you can do it from a distance with a laser? Seeing as my laser was developed specifically to vaporize noobs, it stands to reason that not only is my laser the greatest laser in gaming history, it's the greatest laser of all time. I will now prove it. My range is greater than a meter. Fexter's laser slowly drains his life force, but my laser power is infinite! The ships in Raiden must collect power-ups to improve their lasers, but mine is already the most powerful laser in the universe! Samus can open doors with her laser, but that's irrelevant because she's a noob. See? My laser is the greatest laser of them all! Ha 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 ha.
Downloading our games online is becoming a far more popular way for us to get our gaming action.
So we thought it was about time to do a roundup of some DSiWare to find out what's hot and what's not. And to get things started, we look at the stylus-controlled strategy of Starship Patrol.
Yeah, Starship Patrol is an intergalactic tower defense game with an art style that looks like it's been hand-drawn with biros inside an exercise notepad with lots of little spaceships pew-pewing each other.
Incoming waves of alien enemies assemble on the top screen, while the bottom screen displays the hull of your starship that must be defended. Here you build a variety of turrets, lasers, missile launchers, and Gatling guns to fight off the aliens.
It's all about figuring out which weapons to build where to withstand the different enemy attack patterns, and it's quite addictive, isn't it, Hex?
Yeah, and it's got that fun Star Wars-y music, which is great, and I also really liked that SOS system that allows you to call in bounty hunters when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
SOS is short for Save Our Souls and is a distress signal that dates from the days of Morse code.
Yeah, I really liked this game. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
There are about 30 stages to work through, which is good value, and also the lure of getting that perfect run through each zone. So I'm giving it a big fat 9 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Okay, well now on to something a little bit more fast and frantic, the top-down shoot-'em-up action of Metal Torrent.
Yes, now I like my shoot-'em-ups, Hex, but for some reason this one just didn't grab me.
Yeah, it's pretty average, isn't it, Barjo? But I mean, it's all about blasting things to bits, and we all crave that now and again, don't we?
Yeah, but the difficulty options are so weird. You've got two choices. If you go the blue ship, it's so poo-in-your-pants hard, it's really not fun at all. And if you go the red ship, it's so easy, just cruise through like you're invulnerable.
Yeah, there's no normal difficulty, which is a bit weird. I'm giving it a run-of-the-mill 5.
I thought it was rubbish. I'm giving it 2. Now this, Photo Dojo, is a fighting game where you take all the elements from your own world and put it in the game by taking photos of yourself and environments and also recording your voice.
Special!
Take that, fool!
You had some fun with this one, didn't you, Darren?
Affirmative.
Yeah, I really liked your laser attack.
Firing my laser! Firing my laser! Firing my laser! Negative!
It is really funny, and we laughed a lot, but there's just no depth to the fighting system. It's really basic, so after you get over the initial giggle of seeing your friends on a screen, I mean, I can't see any reason why I'd pick this up again, even with my Hello Kitty rainbow attack.
Hello Kitty tornado attack! Hello Kitty tornado attack!
Yeah, the fighting is kind of lame, and I thought they could have done a bit better with the actual photo taking, but it's not really about that. It's about putting yourself in the game and being creative and having fun, so I'm giving it 6.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, but you can't share any of the things you make online, and there's no wireless multiplayer. I'm just gonna give this one a 5.
Now you're mine.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Victory is mine!
Right, well, lastly we've got something familiar. It's a Dragon Quest spin-off by the makers of Advance Wars, conveniently titled Dragon Quest Wars. It's a strange little game, kind of a mixture of chess and Pokemon.
I love Advance Wars. I felt that this was more like Final Fantasy Tactics, but watered down though. It's set out on a board game-like grid, where you group together a bunch of classic Dragon Quest creatures like slimes and drakis and things, and utilize their different abilities to wipe out another group of monsters or get one of your own to the other side of the grid.
It's all about allocating moves to your monsters and then letting the turn play out to see how they'll do. There are melee attacks, spells, and preemptive defense moves. It's very much a have a few battles in the bus style of game, you know, just some quick strategy gameplay.
I'd still replay Advance Wars over this, but I think if you're a Dragon Quest fan, you'll dig the humour in the monsters. The lack of a story does hurt it though, so I'm giving it 6 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I don't know, I think there's more strategy to this than you're really giving it credit for, Barjo. I mean, I agree that the single player is a little bit dull, but 2 friends over Wi-Fi can get a really good challenge out of this. I'm gonna give it 7. Rubber chickens.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's Spawnlings, but we'll be back next week with another expansion pack of good game gaming goodness.
The result of your Spawn Selects web poll will be in. We'll find out which strategy game won the vote and we'll review it.
And we'll be meeting another Australian gamer to find out what they're sinking their teeth into.
Plus, we're checking out a new game for PC and portables, Nelson Tether's Puzzle Agent.
Puzzles are a way to keep yourself from asking questions you don't want answers to.
Excellent. I do love a good bit of mystery solving.
Oh, well, that might be the game for you then, Darren.
Like trying to figure out the parasitic capacitance and inductance of a transformer.
Or maybe not. Hex out.
Barjo out.
Darren, stand by.
Are you going to sleep?
Affirmative.
Oh, he's tired.
Do you dream?
Late night.
Does he dream?
Of course he dreams.
What does he dream about?
Ones and zeros.
Me too.